Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to take you through everything that I eat in a day. I'm a nutritionist and a competitive high rocks athlete, and everything has a plan. So I'm going to tell you why I'm eating it, when I'm eating it, what the purpose of it is, and overall just kind of taking you through some of the training sessions that I go through, as well as some contrast therapy. So without further ado, let's get into it.
First things first is we got to start off with what we call a morning setup. Now I got to be a little bit quiet. Lauren's still sleeping, it's early, whatever. I start every day off with this morning setup to kind of get digestion rolling, not do anything over the top in terms of like gut load or things like that. Depending on what my workouts are for the day, it will determine what time I eat a breakfast. Maybe I eat breakfast before I go to the gym, maybe eat breakfast after I come home from the gym, or eat breakfast at the gym, or maybe I've had breakfast, I go to the gym and I eat lunch at the gym, all things. All that to be said, nothing changes with the morning setup. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have 100 grams of frozen mixed berries, 20 grams of honey on top of it. I put in a baggie so it doesn't get all sticky on the bottle itself. Quarter teaspoon of salt that we just down the hatch, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and then we're looking for about 1 liter of water, so a little less than what's in this. I think, what is this, 40 ounces? Yeah, a little less than this, but it's good to start the morning off by chugging it. I typically will I'll get up, I'll feed Charlie, I'll wash my face, brush my teeth, do all the things, and then I'll start chugging some water, and then I'll have the rest of this. So let's do it.
I know what you're thinking, Gabriel, that is not a lot of food, and sure, you're right. Well, let's just break down why we have each of the things that we're having in the morning. So you think about, you just woke up, you've been sleeping for 6 to 8 hours, or however long you sleep. Hopefully it's at least 6 to 8 hours. And you're gonna wake up a little bit dehydrated, okay? So typically most people are going to have water, at least I hope that's one of the first things you're having when you wake up. But you're also, because you're a little dehydrated, you wanna make sure that you have the right electrolytes coming into your system after you've been sleeping for a while. So quarter teaspoon of salt is just really good for getting some sodium in your system. Make sure you have the electrolyte balance coming in, and then having the liter of water just to, basically be hydrated. Rehydrate yourself along with the electrolytes. It's a really, really good 1-2 punch to start the morning, okay? Next thing, apple cider vinegar. Just think about gut kickstarter, getting digestive enzyme activity ready to receive food, have some acidity going on, and really just prime the gut to wake up and get ready to take on a little bit of food. And then last but certainly not least is the mixed berries and honey. Mixed berries have polyphenols, okay? Polyphenols are really, really good for your gut lining. Antioxidants has a little bit of that going on, and then the honey is a really good quick carbohydrate source to kind of give you a little pop of energy within 20 to 30 minutes of waking up. So it is everything you want in a first thing in the morning, quote unquote, meal. Like I said, just starting the day off, getting the gut primed up, getting your brain going with some glycogen, hydration, electrolytes, all of those things. Super simple. Now, would I only do that before like a big run or a quality session? No. But I have done during the week, and sometimes in training, is I'll have that set up and I'll go on an hour-long run and I'll be perfectly fine. Am I hungry towards the end of the run? Maybe, sometimes. But hunger doesn't even matter necessarily when you think about what the food is doing for your training or for your life. Because if we're always worried about the next thing that's going to be on our plate, or what's going to, we're just always thinking about food, that's a bad mindset to be in. We have to think about food as fuel. Yes, I love food. I love cooking food. I love trying new food. So I'm not a proponent of bad food. I'm just, food is bad or don't eat all the time. I'm just saying that when we can simplify the food noise and assign a task to the food that sets us up for our day, that's where you want to be. Rant over. Let's go maybe breakfast or maybe to the gym. We'll see. Just so you know, it is important what I eat in a day, but it's also good to let you know that I also know when I'm going to use the bathroom at a certain time of day. It's like clockwork. I wake up, I have my morning set up, I take Charlie on our quick little walk, she goes to the bathroom, all the things. As soon as we get back up, I am about ready to use the restroom. So keep that in mind. You don't have to go at this time of the day. Everybody's days are different. You could go in the afternoon, in the evening, you can go twice a day, whatever. Yes, the amount of bowel movements can and can't matter. What does matter is what it looks like and how you feel, and making sure that you go often enough. Typically, we want to look for about once a day at least. We'll talk about that here in just a bit potentially, but first, I'm going to use the restroom. Okay, Lauren is still sleeping and it's about time for me to have breakfast, but let me explain real quick. I have a little bit of a quality session today, so I'm going to take you through that workout here in a bit, and I also have a call at noon. So the way that I mapped out this morning to work, let me turn off this fan. I hope that fan wasn't an issue, but the way that I've kind of mapped out this morning / afternoon, going into the afternoon is, oh, she's awake. So now we can talk normally. So the way that I have, good morning, Lauren. So the way that I have this morning / afternoon mapped out is I'm going to, I just did a big thing of work for the last hour 15 minutes. Got a lot of stuff done, getting ahead on things because we're going to be traveling here coming up next week. So I got a bunch of stuff done. And because I have a bigger session, which is just one session today, typically I'll have 2 in a day, but since I just have 1 today, I'm gonna eat my breakfast here, and then I'll chill for a minute, and then I'll go to the gym, I'll get all stretched out, and by the time it's actually time to like train and work out, I don't feel full anymore, I feel fine, like I feel like I'm ready to do whatever I need to do. So right now it is about 7:30, so, oh wow, now that I'm looking at it, I've been working for like an hour and a half, that's kind of crazy. But anyways, that's what we're going to do. So let me take you through what I'm eating for breakfast. Oh, and we can't forget coffee. Let me get the coffee hot so that way by the time I sit down to eat breakfast, it's kind of cooled down to be the perfect temperature. So let's do coffee first. Now, you've heard me talk about it in previous videos, but there is one K-pod that Lauren and I love to use. I know people are I'm not really like a coffee snob. I just love a good cup of coffee, and I know I don't like a bad cup of coffee because I know what it tastes like. But we love these K-pods from San Francisco Bay Coffee. They are linked in the shop in the description below. This one's organic rainforest blend. That's the favorite part of my day whenever I get to smell the coffee. So I also like using like 1 of 2 mugs. So typically this is the one I'll have when I'm at home. If I'm going to be traveling or going to the gym with the coffee, then I'll usually use this one. Yetis are definitely the GOAT when it comes to keeping coffee hot. I don't ever have to worry about it. And yeah, I just also like the ritual of using the same thing every day. But let's brew it. Black coffee's getting finished up. This is what I have for breakfast. We're going to have 3 eggs, 20 grams of Parmesan cheese, 60 grams of beef liver, half a teaspoon of salt. Should be about a little bit more spinach. I have more spinach in the fridge, but like a big handful of spinach, 100 grams of sourdough bread, and then I will butter the pan just slightly with some Kerrygold pure Irish butter. Now, I do like to switch it up with the butter and the salt. I always kind of rotate. I don't ever really get the same ones every time, so I'll get a different kind of salt. I'll get a different kind of butter. It really just kind of depends on my mood and how I'm feeling. there is the finished product. We've got our sourdough toast. We don't have anything on it, just regular bread. I'll put like the eggs on the bread and take like a bite of it. Coffee, hack for your coffee. Boil some water and pour it into your coffee to kind of make a homemade Americano. Zoomed all the way in. I love Americanos. I love a regular drip coffee, but there's just something about how it just kind of like, I don't know, makes it like a little bit lighter, and I just like it that way because it makes me feel like I'm not so heavy with the coffee whenever I'm about to go work out, if that makes sense. But I'll always enjoy black coffee. Like right now, let me sip it. Let me tell you how it is. Taste test. Ready? Organic rainforest blend. Dude, that's such a good cup of coffee. It's one of the best, and it's even better, like I said, whenever you can just enjoy it from your own mug. Reason why we eat this: eggs, omegas, B vitamins, nature's multivitamin, spinach, good magnesium source, your greens, beef liver has a lot of B vitamins and iron packed into there, so it's super micronutrient dense. Sourdough bread, fermented food. I make my own sourdough bread, carbohydrate source also to fuel my workouts. Okay, the water's almost done boiling. Parmesan cheese, good vitamin A source. It's got some different micronutrients involved in there as well. It's also lactose free, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly. And it's also kind of good for gut health. So, and sodium. It is half a teaspoon of salt. May seem like a lot, but I like it that way because it's summer and I'm sweating a lot, so we need to make sure, like we talked about earlier, sodium, electrolyte balance needs to be up to make sure that we can fuel the workouts and feel our best and make sure that we're not dehydrated. So I'm gonna eat this meal and then we'll get ready to go to the gym here in just a bit. Hear that crunch? There's nothing better than your own homemade sourdough toast. Nothing better. And breakfast is my favorite part of the day. Another part of what I eat a day, intro workout fuel, 5-ounce baby food packet, 1 banana, 2 dates, 40 grams of syrup, 2 grams of creatine, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So I'll have this will take about 45 to 50 minutes. So I'll have about a quarter before, a quarter after the first round, and then I'm gonna finish it right now. About a third to half to go. So 2 minutes rest, 1 more round. So much easier on the gut, cleaner than most of the gels that are out there. No preservatives, just single ingredient, whole foods, blended up for me to digest. I've got a meeting coming up here with the client in about 5 minutes, but That was a great session. About 50 minutes. My average heart rate was like a 156, but I never got into zone 5, which is great. Runs felt pretty under control. I think I went 355, 357, and then like 357 and 58, something like that on the last one. So those 1Ks were good. Bike felt good. Sled felt heavy today with the turf was just like bending up. It was crazy, but that's exactly what we want to practice. So that was good. Definitely felt tough. I messed with some different grips. I saw Sean Noble talking about how he does the forearm, and he'll switch back and forth between that and like pushing it with his hands, so he can drive more into his glutes on different things and be in his quads and others, kind of save his legs for the rest of the race. So I've been kind of playing around with that. So good. No better time than now to kind of practice new things. So anyways, hopped into the cold plunge after I got done to kind of calm everything down. The big thing about what you eat in a day, being a nutritionist, I understand that it's not just macros, it's not just calories, there's also the nervous system. If you're in fight or flight mode and you're like, oh, I got done with my workout, let me eat before my meeting, blah, 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 your body and your gut are not going to be able to absorb the nutrients you put into it because your blood's at every other part of your body. So I'm not that hungry yet. I'm not in a rush to eat yet. So I got done with my workout, hopped in the cold plunge, brings my body temperature down, brings my heart rate down. I get in the shower, I take my time, wash my face, do all the things. And now it's about to be noon. We get from a place of fight or flight to a place of rest and digest. So I'm about to get on this call. And while I'm talking, I did bring, it's part of my lunch, is some bone broth. Brought it in one of my Yetis, right? Good. It's cold. Typically I like to warm it up at home and drink it kind of like a cup of coffee, but it's perfectly fine that way too. Bone broth before you eat to kind of get the gut lining ready for food, all those good things. But alrighty, it is a little after 3 o'clock, which means it's snack time for me. So let's go through everything that I have for snack time, which is usually anywhere from 2:30 to 4:30, depending on the day. But typically 3 o'clock is like right in that sweet spot. I have 150 grams of watermelon, which I'm almost out of that one. So we got one that we're about to pop open. 1 kiwi, quarter teaspoon of salt, and about tablespoon-ish of bee pollen, which is local bee pollen that I purchased from the farmer's market that we have by our house every Friday. Watermelon, hydrating fruit. Actually, if you eat enough, it keeps you pretty satiated. I have found that watermelon is probably one of the best, easiest snacks you can have. Do I recommend replacing meals with watermelon all the time? No, I don't. But I do think that you can find a really, really good, let's call it, hack if you're able to have watermelon to kind of replace or curb your appetite. If you're like in a pinch or you're busy and things got behind, if you have some watermelon, throw it down. It's very low calorie, very hydrating, like I said, but also good for you. Next thing is kiwi. I'm only going to tell you 2 things that I love about it. Fiber to keep things rolling in your gut, okay, so you can go poop later. Fiber and vitamin C. This thing is a powerhouse, okay? I have one of these every day because it's so micronutrient dense with vitamin C. I also love the flavor of gold kiwis, okay? This is a gold one. Green is good, they're cool. I like to eat the skin. I don't mind the skin on a green kiwi, but I love the skin on a gold one, and I love the sweeter taste of the gold kiwi as well. Salt, we talked about it earlier. Sodium, making sure that, you saw how much I was sweating earlier. You need to make sure that you have enough electrolytes coming into your body. And then finishing off with bee pollen. Bee pollen, again, another little vitamin C uptick to make sure that I stay healthy. With as often as I'm training right now, anywhere from as low as about 10 hours a week to upwards. I think I got to 15 last week, or I'm going to this week. We got to make sure that I stay healthy. And it's also, if you didn't know, local bee pollen and local honey if you can. Okay, so bee pollen, I kind of think of it like nature's call it, I can't say that. Eggs are nature's multivitamin, okay? But think about bee pollen being like nature's, I don't know, supplement, okay? All right, so I mean, this is bro science. Bees are in this area of the country, right? They're pollinating, they're doing all the things. The local honey farmers are collecting all of the stuff, all the honey that they give off, all the things, right?
Well, if they have all of the allergens and the stuff from everything that they're pollinating and you ingest that, you become more acclimated to different, call it, like I said, this is bro science, allergens in the area, okay? If I were to take honey that was from, let's just say, Northern California, I probably wouldn't reap the same benefits of that bee pollen as I would with this bee pollen. So that is the reason that I take it. Seasons and making sure that I can stay healthy. Whenever you got training volume that's up, you need to make sure you can take care of yourself the best you can. Supplements do work, yes, but as a lot of you know, I don't take a ton of supplements. It's usually a little bit here and there, creatine, things like that, but I try to keep it pretty whole food based. So that is my snack. I'm gonna eat it.
Bada bing, bada boom. Look at that dinner right there. 200 grams of tilapia, 150 grams of sweet potato, half a teaspoon of salt, lettuce, what am I forgetting? Half of an avocado, and I got a little bit of mustard on it. And then bone broth, of course.
I like to try to sip on the bone broth while I'm cooking to kind of get my digestion ready to go. And then we're gonna have some seaweed. In this case, it's gonna be sea salt. So kind of like a little poor man's sushi with the fish and everything. But big thing is tilapia, super lean, white fish, protein, electrolytes in the fish itself. So that's really good. Salt, we talked about that earlier. Mustard has a little bit of anti-inflammatory properties. Also kind of tasty with what I like my palate on all this stuff. Sweet potato, carbohydrate source, and a good fiber source coming from the skin and things like that. And then lettuce is just like a really good, whenever you're cutting, quote unquote, it's really good to have volume in food to help you feel fuller, or at least mimic what a big meal feels like. So like this is a big bowl and it looks very filling, okay? And it's, when I'm done eating it, I feel full, but I definitely am not like over the top, which is where you want to be, okay? Seaweed, really, really tasty. I love the little salty taste to it, especially the sea salt. Just kind of gives me that, like, kind of that, not savory, but just like that salty taste that I'm looking for. And then don't sleep on bone broth before you eat. Oh, nice and warmed up. Kind of satiates you a little bit and gets the gut ready to go to take in food. So I have found that when I do have bone broth before dinner, especially dinner, lunch for sure, but especially dinner, that when I have this before, it definitely helps how I feel after I eat dinner, how I feel whenever like I'm about to eat, and it just kind of like makes me feel like I had an appetizer. And I'm not saying like chips and salsa, I'm just saying it makes me feel good. But so let's eat. And then you're gonna see the best part here in just a bit. Last meal of the day is pancakes, homemade pancakes. This is what you do right here. So this is gonna have some oatmeal, some oats. I've got the seal cut oats, but you can use regular oats. We're gonna have supposed to be maple syrup, but I've got some agave just left over, so I'm gonna use that. Some frozen bananas that I had already ready, a glass of milk, some yogurt on top of it, and then in our pancakes we're gonna mix 2 eggs and some baking powder to give them some fluff. Now, because I am very, very hungry, been working pretty hard in the gym, it's something about just make sure that I'm re-fed, I recover well. I had this last night and it was like so spectacular. So I'm gonna get it all whipped up and I'll show you the finished product. Check this out. We've got our pancakes, which look absolutely phenomenal. Our glass of milk, topped with some blue agave. It's supposed to be maple syrup, but ran out of maple syrup, so I had that left over. We're gonna do a quick little taste test. We're gonna get a nice bite here. Boom! Look at that, nice and juicy. Ready? It's just so good. And then you get some milk ready. Oh my gosh. This is heaven on earth. This is it right here. Now, that is everything I eat in a day. This is just a really good carbohydrate and refeed meal to go into a rest day tomorrow and then a big day on Saturday. But one more bite for you. Ready?
It's just so good. I'm going to go sit down and eat. Good night. Get after it.